Welcome back to another slide-in truck camper build update. I slowed down quite a bit as far as what actually got done this week. However, I've been making a lot of decisions and doing design work that just didn't get done in the early phase when I was doing the CAD models. I'm My main effort right now is to figure out how to finish the back wall so I can add the shelves. I've kind of cut them out and sized them, but the back corners, which are also attached to the side panels, I have three panels coming together: the back face of the wall, the side panel, and then the shelf, diagonal that goes out at a 45-degree angle. And in addition to all of that, I have the jack stands that need to connect in that on those corners as well. And to make matters even more challenging, aside from figuring out how I'm going to do it, all of the errors that have added up seem to be manifesting themselves at this corner. Anything that was off in one direction or the other is now affecting what I have to do. And so this 1x2, which is more of a 1.5 by 1, or I should say 2x2, which is actually a 1.5 by 1.5, is the corner beam that goes along right there where I'm fitting it, that goes outside of the 2-inch clad of insulation and allows me to have something of a radius for the external fiberglass to wrap around. And this sizing that I'm doing here showed me that there's more of I don't know how to say it exactly. When I put that insulation on the sidewall there and have the board there cut to the dimensions that I originally planned, I don't get enough overlap from the panel on the bottom of the wing overlapping onto that 2x2. And so I went ahead and soldiered on and put the panel together. But by the time I was done, I decided, especially once I got that full piece of insulation up there, I could see that it just wasn't going to be enough for me to be comfortable with. Even though I have the fiberglass, it'll definitely bond everything together. I still prefer to have the wood make the proper overlap. I cut a half-inch notch there where I'm putting the glue in, and so that's on the vertical, but there's also a similar notch going the other direction, 90 degrees, to go underneath the wing, and I just don't get enough overlap there to really put it. And so what I've decided, but hadn't decided at this point, is that I'm going to actually use that panel on the nose of the camper. I can't do it with any of the remnants that I have, so I'll end up cutting a full piece of plywood anyway, so it won't be too much lost. But I'm going to make another 2x2, or maybe even a little bigger than 2 in one of the dimensions, so that I get proper overlap on that bottom piece of the wing plywood. So after making that decision, I started on the vertical corner, and I ended up running into a similar situation. I was planning to go wider than a 2x2 on those corners, because that's where my jack stands will be anchoring. But after trying to cut these notches out and everything, I still wasn't happy with the results. The errors that I talked about earlier resulted in gaps down at the bottom and smaller gaps or no gap up at the top. And so these slots that I'm painstakingly trying to cut in there don't end up being filled completely with the plywood top to bottom. And so what I've decided to do is go with a full piece of plywood, or full 2x4 top to bottom. You see, I'm here figuring out that that's just not the best way. But if I come in from the back and the side with a flush against that edge, I should correct that. On the back I won't be able to do that, but here I'm trying to see if I get a better fit on this other side. Anyway, hard for me to describe, but I'm not getting the overlap and all that I want with my plywood, so I'm going to go with a full 2x4. Also this week I ordered 4 motorized trailer tongue jacks that I'm going to use for my jacks, corner jacks on the camper. I looked at proper jacks for it, and the $3,000-ish price tag for just the jacks, no electronics, no leveling or anything, kind of puts me off. I have steel that I already paid for and I could use for it, and so the additional out-of-pocket cost for me is much less if I do my own, if I don't count my time to do it. But I've decided that's the direction I want to go. I've seen other people try to do similar things. I haven't really been too excited about anybody else's solution, so I decided I'd try and make my own. But that'll be my project next week, or sub-project, and that's something that I have to figure out also, as how I'm going to connect them to those corners. And so all of this is kind of coming together at once. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next update.